الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه وأصحابه أجمعين. ما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال تعالى: يا أيها الناس إن وعد الله حق فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور. وقال تعالى: إن قارون كان من قوم موسى فبغى عليهم وآتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة إذ قال له قومه لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again and again in the Quran reminds us of the reality of this world, the fact that this world is temporary, and the fact that the life hereafter is eternal and it will never come to an end. This is a theme and this is a concept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us directly through different verses and also through stories, so that we can take lesson from this fact and from the mistakes that people made in the past. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna wa'dallahi haqq. O mankind, verily the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true. It will always be true, right? It might be that the promise of Allah, we don't see it immediately. We might not even see it in this world. But the promise of Allah will always come true at a time, right? Whatever time that is, it will always come true. If not in this world, then in the life hereafter. But inna wa'dallahi haqq, that the promise of Allah is always true. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ فَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says that do not let this world deceive you. Never let this world deceive you. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the promise of Allah is true, and the thing that will deceive you and will make you forget and make you become heedless of the promise of Allah is this world. Right? As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Kahf, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ زِينَةً لَهَا لِنَبْلُوَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. That verily whatever we have kept in this world, whatever beauty we have kept in this world, right? Everything that we see in this world is just beautification of the world. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِنَبْلُوَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So that we can test those that will do the best of deeds. We can see who will prioritize the life hereafter over the comforts and the luxuries of this world. who will make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala their goal in life, yani pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala their goal in life. So in this concept, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions a story in Surah Qasas. Surah Qasas is about the incident of in the story of Musa alayhi salam. At the end of Surah Qasas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the story of Qaroon, where he says, Inna Qaroon kana min qawmi Musa. Inshallah, we'll read through this passage and we'll take the lessons that we can learn and we can implement in our lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins this passage by saying, Inna Qaroon kana min qawmi Musa. That verily Qaroon was from amongst the nation of Musa. Now, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says that Qaroon was actually the cousin of Musa alayhi salam. Other scholars even say that he was a person that had knowledge of the Torah. He had knowledge of the Torah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is establishing this fact that Qaroon was from amongst the family of Musa, from amongst the nation and family of Musa. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. But he rebelled against them. How did Qaroon rebel against them? The Mufassirun explain that the way that he rebelled is that when Musa alayhi salam was given, or when Harun alayhi salam was given prophethood, right? Musa alayhi salam was given prophethood. Musa alayhi salam then asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I need someone to assist me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him Harun. Now Qaroon was also a cousin of Musa, and he was also, according to some scholars, the most knowledgeable of the Torah. So then he desired and he became jealous that why am I not the prophet? And then Musa alayhi salam said, this is the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I can't change this. I have no opinion and no power in this regard. So then Qaroon is given wealth by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he takes the side of Fir'aun. He becomes a follower of Fir'aun. Fir'aun makes him one of the leaders, and then he makes him a leader over the affairs of Bani Israel. And what he did with that power is that he oppressed the people of Bani Israel. He oppressed Musa alayhi salam and his people. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ, and he rebelled against them. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the wealth of Musa alayhi salam, of Qaroon. He says, وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَهُ لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, and we gave Qaroon such treasures, such wealth, that holding the keys of his treasure would be difficult. It would be difficult and it would be burdensome for a strong group of people. Forget about saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not speaking about his treasure. He says, forget about his treasure and his wealth. The keys to his treasure are so much, and he has so many keys, that it would be difficult for a strong group of men to hold those keys. So now when the keys are so much, then we can only imagine how much wealth this person was given. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding him and reminding us that وَآتَيْنَاهُ, that we are the ones that gave him that wealth. We are the one that gave him that wealth. He did not earn anything on his own. And this is a reminder that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us again and again in the Quran, that whatever we have in our life, it is from the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is our job to realize this and accept this, that everything we have, whether it's wealth, whether it's being fit, whether it's the health that we have, whether it is some sort of ability and capabilities that Allah subhanahu that we have, understand all of this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after this, then إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ قَوْمُهُ لَا تَفْرَحْ. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that remember when his nation, yani the nation of Qaroon, said to him, yani these are now advices of the nation of Bani Israel towards Qaroon. What 5 advices they gave him? Number 1, لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. Do not rejoice. Do not be happy. Yani, what does this mean? Does it mean that we can be happy in this world? No. It means do not rejoice and let that joy that you have because of the wealth that Allah has given you, do not allow that to make you arrogant, and do not allow that to deceive you and make you believe that because of this wealth I am all powerful. Because of this wealth I am now perfect. Because of this wealth nothing will ever happen to me. There is no guarantee of anything in this world. Just this week, a young scholar who's a local scholar, And he's young, he was fit. All of a sudden last week he began to have headaches, and after those headaches we found out that he had a tumor, and now he just had surgery. And the point is, this is a lesson for us that nothing is guaranteed in this world. We might be perfect, we might be the most healthy that anyone can be. We might have everything lined up for us. We might have so much wealth that we have enough wealth for us and our next generations as well. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, never forget, none of this is temporary. Don't allow all of these gifts and these blessings to deceive you and make you assume that now I am perfect and I don't need to do anything. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in this story, and and gives us examples in our life again and again, right? Examples of people around us, that none of this is guaranteed. A month ago, right? Just not, maybe a little over a month ago, two youngsters, right, from the Bay Area community passed away in a car accident, right? They woke up and they probably assumed, and they were living that day as if normal, as we are living today. What guarantee do we have that we will actually make it back home? Right? Do we really have this guarantee? No, we don't have this guarantee. So yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La tafrah, do not rejoice. Do not rejoice, yani don't rejoice over this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in other verses, He says, لا تفرحوا بما آتاكم وفرحوا بالحياة الدنيا. That the disbelievers, they rejoice over the things of this world, and they rejoice over, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't rejoice over that which you have been given, that which you have. Because everything that we have is temporary. The only thing that is eternal is our actions that we commit in this world, the actions that we do in this world. Everything else is temporary. What should we rejoice over? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there will be a time for the believers to rejoice. And that is يَوْمَ إِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. That is the day of judgment. On the day of judgment will be a day when believers rejoice. And the believers will now the believers can be arrogant on that day. Now the believers can be proud. Now we can be proud of ourselves, because that is true success. Right? What is the point over rejoicing? What is the point on rejoicing over something that is temporary, that will come to an end? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another verse in Surah Yunus, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. That on this you should rejoice. On what? On the Quran and the Sunnah. قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. On the Quran and the Sunnah is something that we should rejoice over. Yani following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something worthy of rejoicing over and being happy about. Everything else is temporary, right? So the first advice is لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. The second advice وابتغ فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة. And search over that which is eternal. And he search for the life hereafter. Work towards the life hereafter. This wealth that Allah has given you, O Qaroon, use that to earn the life hereafter. This ability that Allah has given me, how can I use this ability to achieve greatness in the life hereafter, to become successful in the life hereafter? And how do we do that? Is whatever ability that we have, we use it in the pleasure and avenues that are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Whatever it is, it's not always wealth. It could be anything, right? And this is a desire that we should have, is that I have this tool. Allah has given me this tool. Allah has given me this gift. How can I utilize this gift to serve humanity, to serve my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, so that I can earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or I can use it in a way to establish the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So وَابْتَغِ فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, or the third advice of the nation of Bani Israel towards Qaroon was وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. And don't forget your portion in this world. Right? Because if we were to only focus on the life hereafter, right, and that becomes everything for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't forget that we have responsibilities in this world. Your portion in this world, what is the responsibility? If we talk about wealth, I can't just give all of my wealth in the path of Allah, because I have a family to take care of. People have rights. People around me have rights upon me. It is my responsibility to fulfill those rights. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us this balance, right? And part of serving and pleasing Allah is fulfilling the rights of people around us. We can never become complete obedient slaves to Allah unless we don't fulfill the rights of people around us. This is a reality. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us in this verse. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Fourth advice. وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. And be good like how Allah has been good to you. Be good to the people like how Allah has been good to you. Allah has favored you with all of these blessings. Allah has favored us by making us from amongst the human race. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favored us by making us believers. Allah has favored us through so many different blessings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the way I have favored you, you also be kind. Are we deserving of anything that we have? Can any of us say that this is my right, the wealth that I have is because of me? No, we cannot. Everything is a gift of Allah. This was the mistake that Qaroon made, and we'll learn in the coming verses. Right? Everything is from when we understand that all of this is the gift of Allah, then the way that we are thankful to Allah is that we be good to the people around us. And again, we are using the ability and these blessings in the avenues that are pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَبَغِي الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And do not seek to spread discord in this world. This blessing that I have, I should never be a means of spreading falsehood and spreading a corruption in this world. I should never be a means of that. A believer is never one that spreads corruption. A believer is never one that spreads fasad. We are ones that make islah, that rectify things. We don't destroy things. وَلَا تَبْغِي الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Verily, Allah does not love those who corrupt, those who are corrupt and who spread corruption. Now, what is the reply of Qaroon? Right? This is a reminder. His nation have given him a reminder. What is his reply? قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. He says, his reply now is that everything that I have been given, it is because of my knowledge. It is because of the knowledge that I have. Look at this arrogance. And why did this arrogance come? Because of the wealth that he had. Because of the status and power that he had. He was drowning in arrogance. He became delusional. And he said, all of this is not because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not because of anything else. I am the one that earned it. I am the one who worked my butt off. I am the one who worked 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I am the one that established this business. I am the one that made all the right decisions in my life. I am the one who studied day in and day out when I was in college, and now because of that I have this. Right? This was the attitude of Qaroon. What is our attitude? We have to look and reflect, right? That why do I have all this wealth? Do I attribute the success that I have to myself, or am I attributing the success that I have to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Qaroon made that mistake. He attributed his success to his own power and his own ability. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَوَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أن الله قد أهلك من قبله من القرون من هو أشد منه قوة وأكثر جمعا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, does he not know that there were many nations before him who were stronger than him in power and had more wealth than him, and we destroyed them? Does he not see their ruins in this world? But when a person is drowning in arrogance and pride, then they are unable to see the reality of this world. They will never be able to see the reality of things, because they're delusional, because they're drowning in arrogance and in their own pride, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, does he not see this? وَلَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذُنُوبِهِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, on the day of judgment, there will be no need for these sinners and oppressors and wicked people to be asked about their sins. We won't even ask them about their sins, because we already know. It's established the things that they did in this world. There's no need to do any hisab and to do any accountability with them. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالَ الَّذِي فَخَرَجَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and Qaroon exited and was now entering the people, right, or the town or whatever it is, fi zinati, in his beauty, with his wealth. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the way that he is exiting his house and entering the people. He's not just being humble, right? He's not humbling himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is that he's showing off his wealth. He wants to make sure that everyone knows how wealthy I am. Right? At times we also have this need. We have a need. I need to tell this person This person doesn't know how wealthy I am. I need to somehow tell him, right? And then we'll just make a statement here and there and be like, oh, you know how much I made here? You know, I have a house here, right? You know, my car, that's my car, right? Because at times, this is again, this is because of arrogance and pride. We need everyone to know how wealthy we are. The age of social media, there's no need to go further on, right? Is people need to tell everyone else how successful they are. They need to tell everyone else how wealthy I am, right? So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now there's two groups of people. قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون إنه لذو حظ عظيم. And then he says, وقال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم ثواب الله خير لمن آمن وعمل صالحا ولا يلقاها إلا الصابرون. Right? The two groups of people, the first group are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says these are the people that desired this world. يريدون الحياة الدنيا. What did they say when they saw Qaroon? يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون. Only if we could have that which they have. That which Qaroon has. Verily he has a lot. He is the most wealthy of people. Right? We're on social media and we're just scrolling through our feed. And then we're seeing all of these people and we're having this desire that, you know what, I also want this. I also want that. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying this is exactly what these people thought. Right? This is exactly how they felt. But they made a mistake. And the reality will come to them. They will see the reality. The second group are those that have knowledge. Right? He didn't say those that desire the akhirah. Rather, he said those that have knowledge, because true knowledge, any knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah, true understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah will never allow a person to desire things of this world, because they've understood the reality of this world. Right? وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمِ وَيْلَكُمْ ثَوَابُ اللَّهِ. He says, woe be to you, the people of knowledge. They understand the reality of this. They understand everything that this person has will come to an end. So he says everything is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what Allah has is much better than what anyone else has. وَلَا يُلَقَّاهَا إِلَّا صَابِرُونَ. But only the patient will be able to receive that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. Thereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ. Allah says that we caused the earth to swallow him and his home and his treasures. Everything that he had, Allah said that the earth split and swallowed him. فَمَا كَانَ لَهُ مِنْ فِئَةٍ يَنْصُرُونَهُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُنْتَصِرِينَ. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says when the decision comes, when the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, no one can help that person. He says that a group of people, no person was able to help him, nor was he able to help himself. In this world, he was the most powerful of people. He was the most wealthy of people. He could do whatever he wanted. He didn't need the help of anyone. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even if he wanted the help of other people, they won't be able to. And he won't even be able to help himself. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَصْبَحَ الَّذِينَ تَمَنَّوْا مَكَانَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ يَقُولُونَ وَيْكَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَيَقْدِرُ. Now those people that desired what he had yesterday, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بِالْأَمْسِ, those that desired his status, his maqam, his wealth, those that desired what he had yesterday, now what are they saying? They're saying, وَيْكَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ. He says that verily, it is certainly Allah is the one who distributes wealth. He gives to whom he wants and he restricts from to whomever he wants. All of this is in the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the reality has set in for them. Right? So our job is to learn from the people around us. Learn from, and we have examples day in and day out around us of people that were millionaires and now they're poor. People that had everything and now they have nothing. People that were healthy and now they're sick. Now they're bedridden. These are examples for us to realize the shortness of this world, how temporary this world is, and the reality of the life hereafter. And then these people will make a statement and they'll say, then they said, لولا أمن الله علينا لخسف بنا وكأنه لا يفلح الكافرون. Had it not been for the grace of Allah upon us. Now they realize. Now they're thinking, they're like, you know what, we could have been with him as well. But it was the favor and the blessing and the kindness of Allah upon us that Allah saved us from being punished, like how Qaroon was punished. right? وَكَأَنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. We could have also been surely, the earth could have swallowed us up as well. Indeed, the disbelievers will never succeed. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends the passage by saying, تِلْكَ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ نَجْعَلُهَا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يُرِيدُونَ عُلُوًّا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا فَسَادًا وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. He says that those that desire the life hereafter, تِلْكَ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ, the eternal home in the life hereafter, we reserve only for those who seek neither tyranny in this world and seek corruption in this world. And the ultimate outcome belongs to the righteous, to the muttaqeen, those that have the quality of taqwa. And Allah says that if a sign of a person who truly desires the life hereafter, he will never become an oppressor, a zalim in this world. He will never spread corruption in this world. And he will be a person who's conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a person who is conscious of the reality of this world and the reality of the life hereafter. We make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us all the ability to truly understand and take lesson and implement these teachings and these lessons in our life. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم ورب حليم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ونبيك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم خير القرون قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كلها دقها وجلها وأولها وآخرها وعلانيتها وسرها. اللهم إنا نستغفرك ونتوب إليك فتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. فتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في ديننا ودنيانا وأهلنا ومالنا. اللهم استر عوراتنا وآمن روعاتنا. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر المسلمين المظلومين في كل مكان وفي كل زمان. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وجعلنا منهم، واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا معهم. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.